Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's Q&A Wednesday. We have got a lot to go through this week, so I'm going to get straight into it. First set of questions then is from our patrons. We put out on our Patreon page each week, ask us anything and we will answer. We also put the question out on our social media stories, but we will always hit up the Patreon questions first. And also, if you want to become a patron, please take a look at the link below and you can benefit from lots of different things becoming a patron. First thing is that we can answer your question one-on-one when it comes to camper van conversions. Let's get straight on with it then. So, first Patreon question is from Al Murray. He says, "Hi Leigh, couple of quick questions. I have a T5 and a double passenger seat which folds. I'm wanting to remove the rear lower panel which seems to be welded in. What is the best way of getting it off cleanly?" First of all, Al, I wouldn't recommend taking it off. The T5 seat, as far as I remember, is all meant to be one structure because you can lift the seat base and have it as a storage compartment, but also having a panel on the back of a seat would give that increased structural integrity. So personally, I wouldn't want to remove it. So I'm not going to recommend how, should I say. If you've seen somebody else do it, that's down to them. I personally wouldn't. Second question from Al. He says, also, how difficult is it to chase wires down the C-pillar of the T5, I assume, as I'm looking to put some speakers at the bottom of it to appease the children on long journeys. Thanks again. I hope you're well. Yes, we're all very well. Thank you, Al. In terms of routing wires down the C-pillar, I would recommend you actually continue the wires along, go down the D pillar, which is the pillars surrounding the tailgate, and then running them back down. Yes, you can basically get from the ceiling all the way down to the bottom of the floor, down the D pillar. So I'd recommend going that route, not down the C pillar itself. Hope that helps. Next question is Kelly. Kelly is one of our newest Patreon supporters, so thank you very much, and hello Kelly to you. Hi, I'm new to all this. Just bought an old T4 and taken it back to bare, although I'm struggling to get bits of old adhesive and fluff off the carpet. I've tried all sorts. Does it have to be completely clean? Also, with regards to the roof, do I insulate that after soundproofing or not bother insulating? Also, do I put foil tape on all bits of metal showing? Do I put foil tape on all bits of metal showing plywood? Plywood, can the roof be put on first, or are there certain stages to put ply up? Sorry for all the questions. Well, luckily, we have covered all of those questions in our previous videos, if you haven't seen them already. With regards to preparing the van for carpeting, getting the old bits of fluff and stuff off the panels, I would first of all try and scrape off as much as you can, then hit all of the metal areas with maybe a 120 grit or an 80 grit sandpaper, either on a block or on an electric sander. And I'm not talking like taking all the paint off, getting it back down to bare metal, but just removing as much of the fluff as possible. That will then give you a nice smooth surface to carpet. I said in a previous video that fortunately, carpet hides a multitude of sins, and depending on where the area is that you're carpeting, you can actually get away with having some bits and pieces on the metal, so you can carpet straight on top of it. Also, to just clear up any residue, using brake cleaner and a microfiber towel, or brake cleaner and an old bit of carpet is very good for removing any extra glue or glue that's on the metal. Insulation, yes, definitely insulate your roof because heat rises. So yes, definitely insulate your roof. With regards to oh yes, and there's also videos about soundproofing. And with regards to putting plywood on the headliner, yes, we have a headliner video also, and I will either put that up here or down in the description, so go and check that out, Kelly. Hope that helps. Next question then is from Steve Farnan. Thank you very much for your question. He says, I need to replace this window seal, but not sure which one I need. I've looked on Seals Direct where you said to get yours from, but there are so many and my brain started to hurt. Also, what tools do I need to remove and replace? So Steve is talking about this window here, that by looking at it is a sliding window and a fiberglass roof of his camper van. And I'm trying to think of the name now. The window rubbers he's talking about, they're commonly known as pattern, but they are called Clayton Wright rubbers on the Seals Plus Direct website. Now, if you're having any problems about your windows, just give them a call. They're really, really helpful. We can just normally do that. We could trawl through all their pages of available rubbers, but just give them a call. But to give them the most information possible, actually remove the window from the rubber, and it's very easy to do that. In fact, I have a pencil down here and I will draw it very quickly for you. So, do my whole Blue Peter thing right now. If you can see this, we have the fiberglass roof and the glass. So this is glass, and your rubber looks like this, with a what's called a filler strip in here. So they're known as H pattern because it kind of looks like a H, and it's got the filler strip there. So you take this window out by removing this bit of the window rubber. Just literally pick it out with a flat-headed screwdriver, this bit here, pick it out with a flat-bladed screwdriver and peel it all the way off around the windows. You then should be able to push the glass outwards out of the window frame, and then you just take the rubber off. Obviously you'll need to protect it whilst it's out, but it's worth it to be able to get the measurements from the previous rubber, or to get the measurement of this part here. You're looking for the width of the fiberglass part of the roof here, and you're also looking at the width of the window pane itself here, or the window frame itself here. Generally this would be 3 to 4 millimeters, and the window frame itself would be about 3 to 4 millimeters as well. And I know Clayton Wright do a general rubber that will house a 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 millimeter part here and a 3 to 5 millimeter part here. What's also important is this gap here to get right. So they're the different measurements you need. But I hope that's helpful for you. So they're the measurements you need. Go to Seals Plus Direct and give them a call. They're very, very helpful. So I hope that helps. Brad, next question. Hi Brad, he says, hi team, thanks for the response a couple of weeks ago regarding the removal of the bulkhead behind the passenger seat in my VW T2 bay window bus. This question is regarding putting a rag top on in place instead of the pop top. I've seen many sites where it states that there is a DIY kit. I was wondering if you had done any work and the work involved. Thanks Brad. Yes, we have. We have replaced pop tops and high tops to pop tops and hard-sided pop tops to canvas-sided pop tops on all sorts of different buses. The things you have to ensure is that the frame for the new pop top will fit the existing hole in your van roof, because we've had that before. The customer chose the roof, was dead set on having this pop-up roof. We went to go and fit it to a van, and the aperture was too big or completely the wrong dimensions for the existing frame. But they were dead adamant on having that roof, so we then had to prepare the roof, weld new metal in, then repaint the roof before we even got the roof in. So there was like £600 to £1,000 worth of work before we even started fitting the roof, because you had to remove the old one, prep it, weld it, paint it, all sorts of stuff. So they're the things you need to look out for. If you've chosen a roof and you like the one that you've got one that you like, check the dimensions needed for the internal hole in your roof. Okay. David Burns, next question. Hi there. When fitting a diesel heater externally underneath a van, what are the pros and cons of having an air intake simply drawing air in from under the van versus having an intake duct drawing air from inside the van? The air intake. Now there's two air intakes, David. You know that. I think you know that anyway. There is an intake for the combustion side and there is an air intake for the heating side. Generally, the air intake for the warm air, the air is drawn from inside the vehicle. If you're fitting it to a T5, for example, and you're using a diesel heater kit that fits underneath the driver's step of a T5, it's very easy to route the air intake hose to the driver's cab step, and the air hose that brings in the air for combustion, that will normally just draw air in from underneath the vehicle. However, make sure to have that air intake hose for combustion not pointing forwards but pointing up or backwards, because if you've if your diesel heater is on when you're driving, you could get too high air pressure coming into the intake hose. A lot of information there, but that's what they're the two sides to it. So send us another message, David, and we will clarify that for you. Next question is from Dominic Pascal. I have a new question regarding the fixings of an R&R bed. Mine has come with small plates to fix under the van, but since buying I have seen that you can get a plate that goes the width under the van. Can these be fitted to all beds for extra safety, or will some not fit? The bed I have is from Captain Seat Limited. Many thanks for your insight. So you can fit a rock and roll bed in any way, shape or form you want. However, if your rock and roll bed has got seat belts and you care for your passenger safety, you would go for a crash tested bed, and the plates that go underneath that seat won't just be little squares, they'll be fully significant welded plates, much like the rusty Leigh TÜV tested bed that we featured just a few weeks ago on the channel. If you see the significance of the spreader plate and the strengthening plate beneath that bed, you will understand why they are so important. I've never seen a Captain Seat Limited bed, never fitted one. However, if they're just small plates, it will be fine to make sure your seat is fitted to the floor. However, if it's got seat belts, I wouldn't use it at all, because if you had two grown adults sat in that seat, in the event of an accident, the combined weight of those two people on the seat belts on just some piddly little squares will not hold up, guaranteed. I don't know if you can get bigger plates made, but I would always recommend getting a crash tested bed if you've got seatbelts on. Hope that helps, Dominic. Next question then is from Matt Lewis. You'll notice I'm speaking fast today. We've got so much to get through. We've got 3 pages, lots of questions, so I hope I'm not waffling too much. Next question is from Matt Lewis. He says, hi Leigh and team. Looking to start the electrical installation and charging system. Would you recommend a 3-way charger? I would ideally like solar, mains and alternator charger. Or keep the split charge relay and install separate systems for mains pickup and solar. If you're planning a system that involves solar, 240 and a split charge, I would go for a combined management system. You can get different management systems from the likes of Victron or CBE, or any sort of retailer. However, we have commonly used the CBE computer, you know, the brain of the system. I've used Victron, they have a combined controller, MTech, and also Sargent. I've used all 3 type systems. It sounds like you're planning your build well before you even start building. So in that case, if you've got the budget to support it, I would get a combined 3-way charger and management system, you know, ideally with a nice readout screen as well. And Matt says, love the channel, hope you're doing okay. Yes, we're all doing okay, and thank you very much for the kind words about the channel. We love making the videos for you and supporting all of you Patreon supporters, as well as you supporting us. Right, now over to Instagram. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions on Instagram. So quick fire round. From @T6 San Francisco. Can you over insulate a van? I'm currently trying to. Thanks for your YouTube videos. I would say yes, you probably could over insulate a van. Depends what climate you're going to. If you are predominantly staying in a hot country, I'm sure you could over insulate a van. If you're going to a colder country, I'm going to say that over insulation is not a bad thing. Obviously anything over and above the factory insulation that you get, which is nothing really, is always a good idea. Hope that helps. VW Bertie 85, another regular and a friend of ours. Thank you very much for your question. Spring plate trailing arms, plug welded or tack welded around the edges. I've actually seen you doing this job on Instagram, so I might be too late in answering this question. I believe, as far as I remember, trailing arm plates are spot welded on. But obviously, because they're spot welded on, the edges lift up, water gets in, and they rot out, which is what yours have done on your Instagram page. I would say to retain the factory part, plug weld, However, if you're able to, and you can maintain the heat management when it comes to seam welding all the way around the edge, I would probably say seam weld as well. But obviously the structure, it's only a thin plate, is that spring plate, so I would maybe add the plug welds in there as well. I'm not a qualified welder, however, I've seen a lot of these bits and pieces get done. But if you weren't keen on tack welding around the edges, maybe put a bit of sealant, stop any further water ingress in there. Next question from Swampy T5. I think I've answered this question. I'm having a pop top fitted soon. Should I wait until that's installed before I carpet? No, not necessarily. You can carpet the sides of the van and the doors and everything else. And then when you're having your pop top fitted, the fitting company should completely cover every element of the inside of the van, because there's lots of grinding, cutting, things like that. So they'll be able to protect the inside of your van and the carpet and everything else. Once that's fitted, you will then be able to carpet from that roof line up and round into the roof section. Next question is from @Stanismo. Have you ever seen a Tinskustoms modular front bench seat? If so, what do you think? I think the one you're talking about is it looks like an old Westphalia folding seat, and I've seen the Tinskustoms. They've built one of the sickest looking T3 panel vans in the last couple of years. Beautiful, beautiful van they've done, and I've seen it has got one of these seats that sort of swap forward and enable your front seats as a bench seat to then face backwards. It's all really cool. If that seat is anything like their builds, I would say it's a pretty good build. A pretty good seat. That's all I have to say on it, really, because I've not personally seen it, touched it, felt it, whatever it is. Next question from @TonyPage87. Any advice on finding parts that are no longer manufactured? Scouring the internet, hitting up all of the breakers, eBay, clubs, websites that break vans, things like that. Or get friendly with somebody who does 3D printing or engineering. Or unless you do that yourself, start getting clever with the old CAD design and start designing bits and pieces. But the likes of uniworksdesign.com. Thank you, Chris, for your new t-shirt. We received it in the post today. What he's based out in America, and what he does is design and 3D print lots of parts for the VW T3. I believe he's also done parts for Porsche as well, and for early water-cooled VW smaller cars like Golfs and Corrados and things like that. Yes, all of those things. Next question then is from Kate.Jono. Jono, is it easy to change from barn doors to a tailgate? If you know how, yes, it's very easy. I know it's common on T4s. If you can find a good tailgate and you can find the hinges from a breaker, and that's absolutely what you want, then yes, that's a good way to go. And a competent body shop or VW restoration garage or any restoration garage should be able to do the job for you. There's a few guides online. We have been asked to cover it on a video because there's no videos out there. However, I've not personally done it, but we know lots of people who have done, one of them being Chris Bulmer down at Mr. B's garage in Bexhill, East Sussex. So if we do a video, it will be with him. Next question from @BillChick95. Do you guys sell the storage compartment for the back of the T25 from the video you did once? Yes, we do. It's not available yet, but it will be next week. All going well. We've had them all cut out. They've all been CNC cut. We're going to record a video on how to fit them, and they are going on our website in the next week or two. So hold out just a little bit longer. All right, and we'll get there. Next one is from BillChick95. Again, hello mate. Do you recommend sound deadening the flooring on a T25? Yes, absolutely, and we have done at least one video on it. So look for the VW T3 rebuild series with the red T3, and it's down there. And we go into lots of sound deadening on that van. In the cab, on the main floor, on the rear engine compartment section as well. Yes, definitely do it. Makes for a much nicer drive. Next question is from @LockedDownAndLow. Best internal fixture for a combi day. Best bike internal fixture for a combi day van. 40 Winks. Their bike rack system that goes on the inside of the van just you don't need to drill any holes or anything. It just clamps into the existing cargo hook points on the floor of your van, and we covered it in a video, and we will leave the link down below, so take a look. Also, you can buy those parts via our website too, so just head over to our website, take a look at the 40 winks section, and you can find it all down there. Last then, Lisa and Aid. This is in pencil, Lisa and Aid, because I just spotted it before we started this. Have you ever fitted a Sequioa removable table leg to a T5, and if so, was it any good? Yes and yes. It is, I think it's available through Caravans, and yeah, it's not too bad actually. It's a great alternative if you don't want to have one of the sunken table mounts in your floor, like, because the only option for that is drilling like a 60mm hole in your floor and then sinking a big table leg into it, you know, table leg mount, and then it always fills with dirt and crap and all sorts of stuff. The Sequioa is an alternative. It's a flat plate that screws on top of your floor, and it's like a cam system. You put the leg in and click it like 33 degrees round or something like that, and all 3 pins lock in. So it's known as a cam lock. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. It's no wobblier than any of the other table systems. Yeah, it's not too bad system, especially if you don't want to drill through your floor. And that's about it. How long was this one, Ali?
21 minutes.
Right, 21 minutes. That is the longest Q&A yet. Keep them coming. I really enjoy doing this. It kills us, but I absolutely really love doing it. Thank you everybody for your questions. Look forward to next week where we will do another one. All the links down below will refer to the questions we've had today, as well as there'll be a timestamp down there as well, so you can fast forward or, you know, click to the latest bit. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.